Previously on Let's Talk About It, relationships, heartbreaks, and situationships. How do you feel about lists?
What was your biggest lesson that you learned from heartbreak?
Do you think society and culture rush the average single person's timeline?
What are your thoughts on situationships?
People shouldn't have that type of power over you. Like, continue to put one foot in front of the other because that's all that we can do. And life is always going to show us a new lesson. It just depends on what you do with it, what choice you're going to make.
Right.
So,
I love that.
Yeah.
That is so, I really connect with her with what she just shared because we really are kind of the same person in some kind of sense. But I would say for my biggest lesson is to not make man an idol. To not put man before God, basically.
Yeah.
That was my biggest issue. We could talk about this in the day, but daddy issues was a big, major part of the reason why I put my boyfriends, my ex-boyfriends, on this pedestal because I didn't get that affirmation, that love from my physical father here on this earth.
Yeah.
And so instead of developing that love relationship with God, my Father in heaven, I tried to develop that with men that, or boys, I would say, that couldn't meet that standard that only God could.
Yeah.
And so once I put them on that pedestal and I put that certain expectation on them and they couldn't meet it, it would break me.
Yeah.
It would break me. And that was what led to a lot of my heartbreak. And so learning to put God first, see God first, and honoring my spirit, honoring myself, and honoring God before honoring anybody else's request was, I guess, would be like a bonus.
Right.
My biggest lesson, just because the spirit never leads you astray. That's what the word say. The Bible says straight, like, follow the spirit. It will never lead you astray. And that was something that I struggled to follow because I never really, again, built that loving relationship with the Father where I could trust the spirit. So that is, just a little bit of piece of advice for my homegirls, my homeboys watching, to always be led by the spirit. No matter how hard it is, no matter how difficult it is, trust that God is leading you down a path that is best for you.
Yeah. So that was your question. So it's my turn.
Yes.
Okay. The top 5 things. What are the top 5 things that you feel all men should have or bring to a relationship?
Ooh.
No matter who you are, all men should at least
Have this.
Right.
Okay. Number 1, he has to be a man of God.
Period. If we can put period.
You have to be not just a person that just goes to church whenever you want to, or you say you love God, but your fruit say something. Like, you are living by the word. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm not saying you gotta be perfect because we are not perfect.
Yeah, none of us are.
But you have to, display fruit that shows that you are a man that's submitted unto God. So that's number 1. Number 2, I'm sorry, but for me personally, I feel like you need to have some sort of income coming in. Like, you need to have a job. You need to have your own place. Like, you need to just kind of already be developed as a man, at least in a physical sense. So have your own place, your own car, and a job. I just kind of tie that into one because I feel like those are necessities. Like, it's a sense of security for me, at least. I mean, I have my own place, I have my own car, I have my own job. So I feel like if that's something that I bring to the table, that's something you need to also be bringing to the table. No shade, no tea to the men that are in that place. I'm not saying I wouldn't be open to it, but I would prefer that my man had those 3 things. 3. Math was my best. But 3 would be, you have to be a loving person. Like, I need you to have good character. You have to have great character. I need to feel that you genuinely love me, that you genuinely want to be with me. Not that you're trying to play games, not that you are wishy-washy. I don't have time for confusion.
Yes.
I ain't got time for the games. I ain't got time for the, the back and forth and the, one day you hide, the next day you I ain't got time for it. What is your fruit telling me? Like, I need you to have good character, genuinely be a loving person. Like, I need to see that you are a good person outside of our relationship.
Yeah.
Like, how are you with other people? So, great character. I need to feel safe. Number 4, I need to feel safe with you. It's one thing to have good character.
Right.
It's another thing to feel safe with this person. And, there are men that can be big buff and, but you don't know what they about. Like, they punching holes in the wall, and I'm like, I don't feel safe around you.
Yeah.
Then there are those wimpy men that don't want to do nothing. They
Yeah.
want to crawl in the hole, whatever.
Somebody just straight up disrespect your woman,
and they just sit there, and I'm
let's
like,
just go, babe. Like,
I don't know. I'm gonna need you to say something.
Stand up for me. Like,
Yeah, so
are you gonna have my back?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I need to feel safe. I need to feel like I'm with a man. I don't want to feel like I have to defend myself, because that's what I've done my whole life.
Yeah.
The way I grew up, I always had to defend myself. So I want to be with someone where I feel that I can sit and just be a woman.
Yeah.
And you take care. You handle business. You know what I'm saying?
Number 5.
Number 5.
I'm not answering this, y'all, by the way, because she's named most of them, so.
We need to have fun together.
Yeah.
Like, that's, like, we need to be friends.
Yeah.
We need
Absolutely.
to laugh. We have to have fun because, we can talk about business and bills and money and kids and, life all day. But at some point, we need to have that time of joy and laughter and just, being kids and being fun with each other, being friends.
Yeah.
So I feel like having that friendship with that man or whoever is like that foundation of the love that y'all have for each other. So I want to be able to have fun with you.
And it keeps the relationship strong, young, and fun.
And very vibrant.
Yes.
So that would be my 5, y'all. That was off the dome. So
yes.
Y'all better write this down.
A lady who knows what she wants.
Period.
All right, it's on you.
Okay.
Did you ask your last question?
No, I do have one last question though.
Okay.
How did you heal from all of your heartbreaks?
How do I feel like my last question is similar? It is very similar.
Oh.
Wow. Okay, and so my question is similar. As a Christian single, what has been your greatest struggle and how'd you manage it?
How'd you heal from it? Okay.
So our last question. See, this is
she too much. Look how she just matched my style.
like,
I've been wearing this all day. She done switched up into something completely different to
y'all, because I was
my fly.
Y'all would have been
No,
like,
she was
who
cute.
is this? Okay. Wait till my pictures go up on the gram.
Just wait for it.
But you said, how did I heal from heartbreak?
Or if you want to even answer your question.
Trying to make people fit. You know what? I'm gonna speak to myself. A greatest struggle personally, just feeling like I'm inadequate or not enough. You can watch somebody do something, or your mind can kind of like take over, like, dang, how come that couldn't be me? Or, not comparing myself or anything like that, but just being so aware of what you can bring to the table, and then sometimes feeling like it's not enough just because it hasn't happened yet. That could be a big struggle, because it's like, well, I feel like I've got my stuff together. I feel like I have this. I feel like I have this. I feel like I have this. But when is the right person gonna see it? You get what I mean? So it can kind of put you in that mindset of like doubting and, just feeling inferior. But the problem is, that's when you start looking at and you're tying in that culture and society and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, when's my time? So I think that is a struggle of mine personally, is just, I know all of these things. I know what the Lord says about me. I'm content in who I am. I feel whole myself. Work in progress, always. We're always growing. And I think I take advantage of a lot of opportunities to grow. But just being patient in the season, in the waiting season, that's a struggle. And how I manage it now is really being intentional in my friendships. This is my sister, y'all, okay? Like, yes. But being intentional in the friendships and things that I have now, being intentional in my business, being intentional with my relationship with God, just to make sure that I'm taking advantage of every opportunity to work on me. So just, I guess, being patient in the season and focusing on the things that God has, blessed me with. How God is using me as a vessel, whatever God has ownership of, me doing my responsibility and managing the things that He's blessed me with. He's blessed me with a business. He's blessed me, with friendships and connect groups and things. He's blessed me with different tasks and ideas that I can act on to keep me above water. I'm an entrepreneur and a content creator. That's it. So, just being focused right now and just working on me, taking advantage of every opportunity to work on myself, I think is the most important thing that I can do and that you can do if you're in the same or a similar situation, because it makes the healing process, smoother, and you're not even realizing it. Like your time just starts to go by and you feel lighter. You're feeling loads lifted because you're kind of canceling out distractions when you're so focused on God and yourself. So, that's how I'm managing it. That's how I'm, I guess, healing and just kind of growing and also doing a better job of noting down those boundaries, so that when you get into something the next time, you'll know what your boundaries are, and you're gonna have that, you're gonna want to make it clear from the get-go. So that you don't run into the same heartbreak or issues in the future. That's how I'm. But what about you?
Honestly, Aisha really just said exactly what I wanted to say, and this is how I know that we are identical sisters, twins, however you want to call it. Just to kind of like reiterate, I think the way I've been able to heal is, if I want to give practical ways, I will journal, my feelings. I like to practice self-care, seeing a therapist, talking about my feelings, being able to process out loud or on paper or with God what I'm experiencing emotionally, and being able to, cut down the lies that the enemy tries to put in my head and speak truth and affirmation over myself as a form of, dealing and managing and healing from past wounds and pain, but also ultimately, focusing on myself, loving myself, investing in myself, doing the things that I say that I want to do, honoring myself in that commitment, and showing up for myself 110%. So when I say I want to get up at 7 o'clock because I want to sit down and pray, and then I want to work out, and then I want to start working on my business, I do that. When I say I want to start reading 10 pages every single day because I want to build a better reading habit, I do that. When I say I want to work on my physical health and start eating better and drinking more water, I do that. And I think showing up for myself is showing that love for myself and to myself that I so desperately look to everybody else to do and give me, which you can't look to other people to give you that love. Yes, people can love you and should love you, but that love that you are looking for can only be met by you and God, period. And so when you take that time to stop playing with yourself, like be for real with you. Be for real with you and invest in yourself. Love yourself and do what it is that you say that you're going to do. Self-love is self-discipline. So if you can discipline yourself in some habits that you want to see in your life, that is self-love. That is investing in yourself. You say you want to make a certain amount of money at a certain time in your life, start doing the groundwork now. Start laying that groundwork right now, becoming disciplined and investing in yourself. And in that time, you start to heal from broken habits and broken mindsets. You heal your mind from a poverty mindset when you start thinking like a millionaire, like a billionaire. You start healing from daddy issues when you start going to therapy and healing from the damage and the wounds that you got from your father. You start healing from certain mindsets and certain ways that you would behave and act and think and move when you start trying to do the work, when you start doing the work and investing in yourself. So reading the books you need to read, seeing that therapist, talking to that friend, budgeting. And, do what you need, what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? I think just taking that time to really ask yourself those questions like, okay, you know, these actions, these choices that I've made have led to a lot of brokenness and hurt and destruction in my life. What do I need to do in order to see the opposite, to see love, to see joy, to see peace and happiness in my life? Because it's so easy to blame the other person.
Oh, yeah.
It's so easy to blame the other person. And yes, that other person carries some fault. Mm-hmm. But you have to look at yourself in this situation. You have to ask yourself, because you can't change that person. Mm-hmm. You can't change anybody that you come in a relationship but yourself.
Yep.
So you are what you attract. You have to really take that time to analyze, who am I? Mm-hmm. What am I bringing forth into this world? What actions, what choices am I making that are leading the life that I'm currently living? Mm-hmm. And is this something that I want? Is this a fruitful life? Or is there another way?
Yeah.
And when you can take that time to analyze that and you realize that there's another way, then be consistent and show up for yourself 110% towards that path. And I promise you, you will see the results.
Yeah.
Period.
Absolutely, 110%.
Yes.
Yeah, and the last, just before we go ahead and close out this video, the last piece of that, you know, everything you right on the head, but taking ownership of the role that you've played in these heartbreaks.
Yes.
Best thing you can do. If you're unable to look within yourself, when I tell you, if you think your ish don't stink, that means people are never going to be able to tell you anything. Right. And you're never going to grow if you thought nothing was wrong with you in the first place. Right. So if you're in that healing process and you're getting, you're going along that journey to heal and become whole again and feel fulfilled in your spirit and stuff, take ownership of the role and actually consider the other side. You know, if somebody's ever brought something to your attention and things, don't be so quick to shut it down or no, and you did this, you did. Don't always point fingers, because sometimes you gotta look in the mirror and like, hey, you know, if this is something, if I've caused this hurt or I've played this role in somebody else's trauma or whatever, what do I need to be doing to work within myself to improve that so that I can be better for the next person, friendship, relationship, whatever. You know, the way you operate, you're going to have to shift your mindset, and you're going to have to break that off of you, because you thinking that you just have it all together all the time, it's not okay. It's not healthy. And so, yeah, that is my last little 2 cents for that question. This has been a great conversation. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So, yeah, we're out. I love you guys so much. See you guys. Mwah!